bringing is the generation, whether it's about the coded generation or whether it's about the low code, which is another interesting feature.
Absolutely.
With these requirements, when you will be able to create test cases, right? I mean, that is the main thing, right? Because you need to find skilled resources who can convert your requirement into the test cases, right? If AI can do that, right? I mean, think about how much
half battle is
won, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So
it helps you with the code coverage also, right? Because that always the project management team is always looking for ways to increase that code coverage.
That's so true.
Usually your code coverage is always less than 50%.
50%, yes.
But with these capabilities, if we can take it up to 70 or 80%, I think that will improve the code quality tremendously.
Agree. And the other which I have seen with this feature is, normally when it comes to the test, if your testers are not skilled enough, the very first focus always goes into the positive test cases, right? I mean, we always forget whether we are covering enough negative test cases.
But the edge cases,
the edge cases. Right? And what I've seen with this new capabilities within the test suite, they are amazing. Like, they are not only the very first test case creates with the positive, then with all the different variations to make sure that you have a complete coverage, like the point you mentioned. So that is another amazing feature that I'm looking forward to. And
I'm also very much interested, like how specialized AI plays a role in this, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, so that's very exciting.
Right. So other than that, the insight now, which is another amazing AI feature. Now I know, like, these test cases are failing, but what is the main reason behind that? What is the pattern that is falling, right? So those are another capabilities. When I know that these test cases are failing, like 10 are failing for the same reason, so determining the patterns.
Yeah, we can categorize, classify them, and then take a remedy.
Right. So those are the amazing feature within the test suite, especially this AI infused capability that are going to change the whole landscape. I'm very excited and looking forward. And I think all of us, like, I mean, are about,
I'm also very interested in learning more in terms of the load testing and performance testing, because that has been a key challenge, not just from API testing perspective, but also from the UI automation perspective.
Right.
So if I have to test my application and I have to test that if my application can support 2,000 concurrent users, let's say if it's a citizen-facing application, right? We do have those SLAs that we have to meet, and if the test suite capabilities can help me, whether it's through cloud robots or through virtual machines where I can spin up multiple robots to perform these actions, I think that will help me a lot, rather than going and spinning up different third-party applications to be able to evaluate it.
Absolutely. So when I look the test suite, right, that is what is the difference between other market tools that are tools that are available in the market, and how UiPath Test Suite is different. We always project it as a complete testing tool, right? So those are the couple of capabilities that were missing earlier. I think we already started discussing about performance testing, because in a complete test suite, you need performance testing, you need application testing, you need RPA testing,
regression testing,
regression testing, smoke testing, right? And further adding into that, the compatibility, the cross-browser testing, right? And then we talked about the database testing, right? So there are areas which are already covered in the test suite, but those new features like the performance testing, that will make this tool complete. And I believe like features like self-healing and all those will make this tool unmatchable, which is
with the addition of process discovery. So that actually covers from business requirements to test cases, and how you can actually bring test automation features even development lifecycle. So supporting the developers itself, be able to monitor their code and identify the peer review aspects of it. So I think this could become like one tool to test every phase of SDLC.
Exactly. And the good thing is about is like the success stories that we have is, we can sell that, okay, if you already have the infrastructure to bring either a test automation or the automation, now you can choose if you ever want to start leveraging the same infrastructure for test automation, you can do that. So you can switch. That becomes a success story for many of our clients, starting whether with the automation or with the test automation. They can do vice versa and get their success right away. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited about all the new features that are coming. Generative AI capability definitely is going to power the test suite tremendously.
Yes, and if you think like a couple of years back, it started with just an idea, right? I mean, now with the integration service, with the data service, so many things has already been there in the test suite. The challenge was initially, data is always an important another aspect of testing, right? Without a proper data, your test cases are incomplete. You will not able to know what exactly happened, right?
And data-driven testing needs a lot of data.
Yes. So with the synthetic data feature within the test suite, that is another very great feature which can facilitate you synthetic data, and you can do end-to-end testing using that synthetic data. On top of that, we also talked about this data services, right? If you want to use, you already have something there which you want to, that is another feature within the test suite. If you will integrate, can complete testing, end-to-end testing.
I think we may be looking at the first ever test automation tool that can perform from requirements till the end, like till the end of performance testing, load testing, regression testing.
And I don't know why there was always a void there.
There always a void.
There was always a void there, right? There are tools which are like Selenium and other tools which are providing capabilities.
They only focused on one aspect of testing rather than looking at a broader picture.
Right.
And it's different applications across each of these phases.
Have you heard about, I read in one of the test suite documentation, I believe, or somewhere, there is also a service available which can migrate, which provide guidance for migration also. Like, for example, many companies may be already using some kind of tool, XYZ, but now the question here is, can we take those migration from the legacy or the old tools to UiPath Test Suite? So what do you think about that? Is this something that you have worked with? I mean,
I think that's an interesting area. There are few services within test automation that we can use it, but having a dependency on the legacy tool, this may be something that UiPath Test Suite can expand to.
Right.
But yeah, migration is as a big as companies and legacy applications are moving towards cloud. This is definitely another huge area for test automation to get.
Another good thing which I also like, I mean, how UiPath is putting so much focus is around the best practices and the industry best governance around is like the. Initially, when I saw the template when you create a test case is around the BDD pattern, right? The given when then, right? So I was so amazed, like it is not just throwing something around test automation, but also thinking from an industry standard. If we are following the BDD pattern, which is the most common pattern around it, putting the blocks around given when then makes things more simple.
With standardizing things,
so
right? It's not left for each team to decide their own template, and definitely that helps in terms of scaling these test automation scripts for large teams.
What is your favorite feature within the test suite, if I may ask?
Test suite, I really like the integration part. So where test suite can be integrated with Jira and other platforms, because that actually reduces a lot of workload for bringing in those use cases, those user stories within that test automation platform. And there used to be a lot of work, upfront work by the business analyst teams to do that. And that saves time for test developers and even building out a requirement traceability matrix, right? So because that's kind of a go-to document that every customer is looking at, where if their requirements are matching, not just for development perspective, but also for the testing perspective. And that all ties it back to the test coverage and code coverage, right? So I was really excited to see those kind of features coming in and being enhanced with AI, where it's not just able to ingest all that information, but it also can drive insights through it and at least create the manual tests that are available right away. Eventually that can be used by developers to build test cases. within Studio.
Yeah,
so.
which is my favorite one, is a very small one, but yet a very powerful one. When your test case fail, like you capture that screenshot and like the video thing we talked about, right? So it's a very small feature, but such a powerful one because you want to know why it failed. Right?
It's a lifesaver actually.
It's a lifesaver.
Because rather than spending hours to find out where the failure happened,
exactly,
you that actually just gives you where exactly you have to focus on rather than spending time.
It can be any reason, right? Like
could be
pop up, it can be something environment related, but having that screenshot, having that video
recording,
it is what I have seen personally based upon my experience is saving a lot of our time and effort rather than going through a lot of log files and simply have your screenshot right away.
And even a long running process may be very complicated to find out where to actually dig in and find out what particular steps. And some of these issues are like unknown scenarios because they may be because of the browser upgrade or whatever security notifications. So that's definitely a good one that you highlighted.
I personally would like this features to be a little bit more enhanced to the next level, where I can get all the screenshot and I can put in a specific place, right? I can definitely add another workflow which will notify someone that this failed, but I would love to have that feature inbuilt, that when those failures are there, rather than for me writing a workflow or somebody writing it down to send those email, how about it is already been done as part of the failure, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Is it going to be cool?
It could be something interesting, but what I would say with the Gen AI capabilities, there may be some scope to it because one of the other things we need to be cognizant of that some of those exception scenarios may not be that straightforward, right? That the robot can itself heal in those cases. So you may have to have a human in the loop. A human reviewer needs to be able to verify it and approve the next steps to it. But I think we are getting there with the integration with the email integration. You can definitely get those notifications. And up to a certain extent, if you can define those scenarios where you don't want the robot to stop and continue with the automation, you can define those exception paths, right? Where it can navigate through that step rather than failing at that.
One of the questions which I get a lot in the community is why Test Suite? Why you want to leverage UiPath Test Suite? And my answers always like having both the capability. Once you have the infrastructure, you can leverage testing as well as the automation.
Process automation.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Am I right, or like what is it?
That is exactly right. Test the way I approach it. Just don't look at test automation as a platform. UiPath has immense capabilities to take care of your process automation, test automation, if that is what you're limited to, because test automation gives you application, but at the same time, if you want to evaluate the health of your application, that's your process automation can augment whatever you have built and delivered.
Absolutely.
And if you are investing, and if you are investing for your applications, I think that is the tool to go.
Perfect. And what
I
are
don't
the
see
areas
any other alternative.
What are the areas like when it comes to the test scenarios, right? So what are the test scenarios where you are using it? Because we want to leverage Test Suite for everything, whether it's about your smoke testing, starting from the very basic, then end-to-end testing, then it comes to regression testing we talked about, right? So what is your favorite area where you think like, we should be investing more and this Test Suite fits right there? And what are the areas where you think like, maybe not at this stage, maybe in future?
I think the most requirements that I have seen is primarily on the regression testing is definitely one. Load testing is another one that I'm seeing a lot more requests coming in to be able to perform load testing, performance testing. And one of the other things for IT departments, I'm not just talking about the application team, right, that developing applications and going through the SDLC phase before they publish a particular application. I also want to augment the IT teams, right? Because they have a responsibility to manage infrastructure, manage your applications. citizen-facing applications, right? So that's where I see immense value, rather than them having some additional scripts or depending on logs from different tools to be able to identify the issues. I want to see test suite or test robots running in at a certain duration, right? So that you can monitor continuously the health of your application, and rather than depending on some other passive ways to find out if an application is down.
Right, absolutely.
So I think that's where I see a lot of demand and a lot of value coming in from Test Suite.
Yep, I mean, again, with the Test Suite, with these features, with the capability, I think it's a great, complete tool, which is filling the market, which was missing from a very long time, and bringing the AI capabilities are something like, yes, this is something which I believe is really going to help everyone. So yeah, thank you so much, Pradeep.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.